welcome or welcome back. My name is Ari. The dulcet tones of snoring you hear in the background is my dog Captain. And today, it's TBR time. Every month I play a TBR game called Dungeons of Books, where I use a giant D20 to randomly generate prompts and then pick books based off those prompts. Before we do this month's rolls, let's chit chat really quick about last month's rolls and if I ended up reading the books or not. First roll, I got boyfriend pick, and my boyfriend chose Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. I have not read this yet, but I plan to start this tomorrow and I still have a few more days in the month. So we're gonna assume that I've gotten through this by the time the month actually ends. I just haven't yet. Next up was a comment picks, and I got Old Country by Matt and Harrison Query. I did read this. It was a 3-star, I think. Next up, I had a fantasy romance, and I chose One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, and I did read this. 4 stars, very good. I've already pre-ordered the second book. Next up was Shelf 2, so a book off of my second shelf. I chose Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I did read this. It was 5 stars. Yay! Next prompt was Forgotten Realms, and I had originally chosen Starless Night by R.A. Salvatore, which is book 2 in the Legacy of the Drow series. Instead of reading this, I realized I had an arc for the newest Dritz book, which is Los Warrior. I'm going to put it up here. Los Warrior, which is book 3 of the Way of the Drow series, and it comes out in August. So I read this one instead and did finish it. For used book, I chose God by Reza Aslan. This is nonfiction and I am in the process of reading it. I have 1 section left to go and I'm going to finish it tomorrow. Next prompt I got was Standalone, and I chose A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. I did read this. It is my least favorite T. Kingfisher book I've read so far, but it's still better than most books I read. My last roll was free choice, and I said that I was going to read the new Simone St. James when I came in, and I did. That is Silence for the Dead. This is technically not new. She originally published this in 2014, but it was re-released in this version this month. So I did read this. It was pretty good. Not my favorite Simone St. James, but I still liked it. Then my audiobook was The Office of Historical Corrections, which was a short story collection. I did enjoy this fairly decently. It's just a short story collection. The stories were very good. And then for series, I picked The Deeds of Paxenarian. I did not touch this. I'm thinking of moving this to next month's TBR, but we'll see. We'll see. And just so you know, for the jar draws, if I don't read the audiobook or series that I pull out of the jar, I have to read 2 in the same category to replace it. So I did continue on or finish 2 series last month to make up for not reading that book. Alright, from there, let's get into this month's TBR. I do want to say before I actually start all of this that the Magical Readathon is happening this month, so my Magical Readathon TBR will not be in this video. I'm going to put out a second TBR video tomorrow as kind of like a bonus video with a Magical Readathon TBR. So let's start with the jars. And I'm most interested in what series I'm going to be continuing this month, because whatever I pull out of here could vastly change my Magical Readathon TBR. There are books that I definitely would love to be pulled out of this TBR, and there are ones that I definitely, under no circumstances, do I want out of this TBR, considering how many books I have to read for Magical Readathon. But enough talk. Let's get into this. I'm gonna go with this one. And we have Lore Olympus. So I will be reading Lore Olympus Volume 4. This is a graphic novel, so perfect thing. Perfect thing to pull out of this jar this month. I'm very excited about this. Let's see what audiobook I get. I don't really have a preference on this one. I will just take anything. Maybe something shorter? Alright, we've got this one, and it is Before We Were Trans. Basically, this is a nonfiction historical. It illuminates stories of people across the globe from antiquity to the present whose experiences of gender have defied binary categories. So, very interesting. It's got very high ratings on Goodreads, so I'm very excited to get to read this month. And from there, let's jump into the rolls.
We ended last month on a 20, so no need to replace a prompt.
Roll number 1, I got a Backless book. And for this, it's just a book that's been on my TBR for a while. It doesn't matter if it's my physical TBR or my Goodreads TBR, but just something that I've been meaning to read for a while and haven't gotten around to. For this, I am going to read Moon of the Crusted Snow. Not going to even attempt to pronounce the author's name because I'm going to butcher it so badly. This is a dystopian post-apocalyptic type book that's apparently a slow story. While it takes place after the end of the world, it's not the dramatic the world is actually ending part. This is on my 23 to read in 2023 TBR, so it's been on my TBR since 2019, 2020. It's been a couple of years. Just a few. Next prompt, we got Hardback. For Hardback, you're just gonna have to trust me on this one. I have ordered a hardback version of this book. I found it for very cheap on Thrift Books in hardback, and so I don't have it physically yet in my hands, but it is coming, and it is The Last Human by Zach. I don't remember, but this is a comic, or this is a novel based on a comic that I've enjoyed previously, and this is one of my 5-star predictions. It's literally been on my 5-star predictions for the past 2 years, and I haven't read it yet. So, perfect chance to read it, and I bought it because it is a 5-star prediction, so there's a likelihood that I wanted to keep it. Next roll, we just go down one number, roll a 17, and we got a foiled cover or sprayed edges. This is really funny because I put this prompt in the bag because I had so many BookBox books with sprayed edges, and over the past 2 months, I've read almost all of them. I think I have 2 left on my physical TBR, and I don't want to read either one of those. So I'm going with the foiled cover, and it's kind of stretching it a little bit, but I think it still counts. For this, I am going to be reading Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, and if you can see the reflection from the ring light, it's got foiling. It's not a huge amount of foiling, but it definitely has foiling on the cover. apparently we are counting down with the dice. We've gone 18, 17, and now we're at 16, and the prompt is a book with the word "the" in the title. This gives me, as imagined, a whole lot of options because a lot of books have the word "the" in the title. For this, I'm going with an arc that I need to read in September called Night of the Living Queers, which is an anthology. Here's a picture of it. I believe all of the stories in this are horror books revolving around queerness, and I don't know about y'all, but I tend to like queer horror. Final rule this month, because there were no doubles and I got a friend pick. So I'm gonna stretch this prompt a little bit. Technically, a friend of mine is not picking this book, but one of the magical readathon prompts I need to do is a book chosen by a bookseller, a bookseller's pick. So I feel like the people who sell books are friends to us all. And it's my TBR game, so I can stretch the rules however I want to. Let me just tell you that I have 14 books I have to read for the magical readathon, plus 2 other videos that I had planned that I couldn't get all the books onto the magical readathon. So I need all the help I can get with not adding books to my TBR. So for this one, our booksellers / friend pick is going to be The Sacrifice by Rin Shipeko. I don't know what this is about because I didn't read the back. It was suggested to me, so I picked it up. But yeah, it's horror, it's young adult, that's all I know about it. Hopefully it's creepy AF. Alright, that's all for this video. Again, my magical readathon TBR will be going up tomorrow, so if you're interested in seeing what my career path is for magical readathon and what books I am choosing, make sure you tune in for that.